Okay, for the next step, we're going to actually add resources into Starbase. So in order to do that, you actually want to first start at the central space station for whichever faction you've selected. In this case, for this demo, we've done the mud. So we go ahead and click on that. And now some of these other buttons will come into place. So the first thing we actually want to do is check out our inventory. So if we look at our local inventory, click on that and another screen will pop up. So what we see here is we have our 4 resources available. It says what's stored in our wallet. So again, we have 66 of ammunition and food. We also see other possible items. These are things that can either be mined within Starbased or crafted within Starbased. So we'll see all of that information. So what do the different resources do? Well, basically, the ammunition, food, fuel, and toolkits all relate to different things. So, for example, movement. So moving from one space on the map to another, that requires fuel. Mining, you actually are shooting your guns of your ship, so you'll need a little ammunition for that. But because it's being used, you actually need a little bit of fuel also. So that's something there. If you're scanning for what are called SDUs or standard data units, you do need a little fuel for that. And if you're moving around, you might need a little fuel. So far in the game, at least as far as the ships for mining, scanning, and movement, you do not need toolkits. But toolkits could come up at other aspects of the game or possibly in the future. In order to move this information, in order to add these resources, it's very straightforward. You just click on the one you want. It asks the amount to transfer. So in this case, 1. Sure, we'll do that. But we could type in any number 1. I guess let's type in 10. And maybe we'll transfer 10 food. Oops, not 100. 10 and 10 fuel. Okay. So once we have those, we can actually import from the wallet. So we'll go ahead and click on the import button here. Oh, sorry, I typed in 10, but there's only 6. So the software actually warned me. So we'll go ahead and just do 6 there. Oops. Okay, so now we have what we want. We want to go ahead and import from wallet. As again, you're probably getting used to, everything involving actions within the game requires a transaction on the blockchain to record that action. So our phantom wallet will appear. Okay, and we've got enough there. So we'll go ahead and click confirm. You'll see the small little icon kind of moving in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, and that'll kind of give me an indication that it's still processing that transaction. And then when it's done, it actually comes up and says the items have been deposited. You'll now see within your Starbase, you have the information has been transferred over. So that's basically how to get resources into Starbase. The next thing we want to do is actually go over ships. So with the central space station still clicked, we'll actually go on to the port of entry. So again, kind of using that analogy. And we see we have our 1 Pierce X4 ship. Now, where's our other ships will be here unless they're in other parts of the game. So if you have any ships that are in the faction fleet, those will not be visible here. But in this case, the Pierce X4 we have available, so we're going to go ahead and click that. It's going to say, do you want to transfer 1? And we can go ahead and deposit in the Starbase. And we'll see we're adding our Pierce 1. Here's the amount of SOL that's being done, the network fee, and we'll go ahead and click confirm. And we'll see that the port of entry, the ship has disappeared. But of course, it's not gone. It's just in a different part of the game. So in order to use ships within Starbase, you need to form into fleets. And that's actually done in the hangar. So we'll go ahead and look into the hangar. We'll see we have a button here to form a new fleet. So we'll go ahead and click on that. And we'll see that we have no ships in there, but we have the ability. Well, actually, let me back up. First thing you want to do is look at the name that we give into it. So this has been called the Horse Fleet. If you want to name it something else, do come into here first and make that change. I'll go ahead and just accept that as the call sign. And here's a perfect example. I don't see that I have any ships in the inventory of the Starbase. So this again could be one of those situations of having to be a little patient for things to go. So go ahead and just cancel the fleet creation here, and we'll close this, and we'll just do a refresh on the page. So again, I'm just going to hit the reload this page button. Oh, an interesting note, you will see this from time to time. Starcom error, service should be restored shortly. So part of the reason we didn't see our ship there when we were trying to create our fleet is one part of the game called Starcom, Star Atlas Communication Server or something, is having an issue. So unfortunately, this isn't a blockchain congestion issue or something like that. This is actually part of Star Atlas's game infrastructure, and unfortunately it's not working right now. So go ahead and try one more refresh. And we see that message is still there. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video. Unfortunately, this is just part of running a pre-release, pre-alpha game, and stuff sometimes says, oh, hey, went away. So, hey, let's give it a shot. So in this case, that message went away. Let's see. We'll go ahead and connect our wallet. Choose Phantom. Hit continue. We're allowed to select our character again. There's our demo 2. We'll try one more refresh. And due to the fact that it's not auto-connecting and going right in and showing our profile up here, I'm going to think even though the message has disappeared about the Starcom error, probably still occurring. So I'm going to go ahead and pause this video, and I'll check back in a bit and continue with creating our fleet. Okay, I'm back, and we'll go ahead and try to form that fleet again. So go ahead and click on your central space station. Click on hangar. Click the button to form a new fleet. And this time we actually do see our ship down here. So now we know it's available. So again, check out your name. If you prefer to call it something, you go ahead and do that. This is the one and only time you can make that change. We then want to add this ship into our faction, or excuse me, into our fleet. Now, the fleets can have multiple ships, and they're limited by this usage number here. So this ship actually only uses one, but bigger ships might have a bigger number. So the total fleet cannot exceed the 145 fleet space usage number. So again, just to keep this tutorial simple, I'm just doing the one ship. But again, you can definitely add multiple ships, and there are pros and cons of doing that. But again, that's kind of the advanced. This is just how to get into Starbase and play. So we got everything. We picked our ship. We picked our name. We're going to go ahead and form a new fleet. Okay, because we're, again, performing part of game action, we have to create some changes to the blockchain. So we get our window to pop up to create or to do a transaction. Now, I want to note a couple things here. All we're doing is basically combining, well, in this case, one ship into a fleet. So it's just a virtual object. It could have more ships. But as I mentioned in the kind of caveats here is the amount of transaction fees that occurred. So not really, this transaction fee isn't really the problem because it's 0.00003 Solana, so very small amount. It's actually this one up here. It's 0.01. Just remember that. I'm going to go ahead and confirm this, but we'll go back and kind of see again how much 0.01 Solana takes. Okay, so our fleet has been created. Now, again, I was just going to explain a little bit about the use of Solana within the game or within Starbased. So we didn't do kind of a before and after, but what I'm going to do is let's just pretend we were going to go swap some Solana so we can get a kind of current price. So we're going to swap 0.01 Solana for USDC. And we'll see that 0.01 Solana is actually $1.34. And like, but all I did was create a fleet and it cost me $1.64. Yes, it did. But this is a special use case. On the Solana blockchain, I'm not really sure I completely understand. Basically, you have to create kind of, well, I think they're called rent accounts. I'm not 100% sure of that, but they're only temporary for this thing. So when you disband this fleet, you would actually get that money back. However, you are spending that money. So this is another reason why I've brought up, if you've watched my other video first about how to start playing Star Atlas with $100 up front and $20 a month. This is one of those purposes for the $20. Yes, to form a fleet, it costs you money even though you haven't really done anything. But again, that's sort of part of the game. This will come back to you when you disband this fleet, and other things will actually come back, but not everything. So again, this is one of the problems with small fleets, in this case a 1 ship fleet, there is a cost associated with that. So again, I don't really want to do this, just was kind of doing it for purpose there. Okay, so we'll go back. Now we have our fleet here, and we've created it. So the next thing we want to do is actually add resources to it. Now, there's some very helpful buttons if you had multiple fleets here. You can refuel all your fleets, you can rearm your fleets, you can unload cargo, and you can undock. However, I'm going to just show you on a fleet-by-fleet basis, partly because we only have one. So if we actually go and open this up, we'll see that it says the fuel tank's empty, so we can't do much without fuel. We have other buttons here to add ships or disband or undock. Again, we'll get into other things here, but we really want to look here at the fleet resources. So we'll see that the first one that's available here is fuel. Now, in a perfect world, we just click the fuel full refuel, but we don't actually have that much fuel in our wallet right now because we only did, I think, 10. So we're going to go ahead and just kind of create a fake type of scenario here where we're just transferring small amounts. Unfortunately, this is where this interface is kind of designed more for the full thing. So here's what I'm actually going to do to make this a little bit more easier. This fuel tank actually requires 267 fuel, 288 ammo, and 389 food for consumption there. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go back out and buy some more fuel and food and ammo. We'll go with looks like 1,000 is good, and then I'll transfer those on the Starbase. But again, it uses the same commands that I've done in all other places. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video just so you don't have to watch through all of that, and then we'll come back into this information. Okay, I'm back. So I went ahead and purchased, I decided to make it 5,000 of food, fuel, and ammo. So now if we go to the local inventory, we'll actually see we have those 5,000 there. So I'm just going to click all three of these. And here's a little trick. You can actually just click this button here and it automatically types in that amount. So I'll go ahead and transfer all of those. I want to import from the wallet. We'll see that's there. And then there's the little network fee. So we'll go ahead and click on confirm. And we got our little indicator down here spinning. And that everything's been successfully transferred. And we now see in the Starbase we have our 5,000. So go ahead and close this. We again created our fleet, which again sits in the hangar. So we'll go to the hangar section and we'll go ahead and open this up. So we'll go ahead and do a full fuel refill. So we'll click that button. Again, this is a action within the game, so it causes a blockchain transaction to be created. And we'll pass that, and we'll see our little network fee, so we'll get confirmed there. And now we're 100% of our fuel tank's full, so we'll go through and do a full rearm of the ammo. Everything looks good, so we'll confirm that. And we'll see that our ammo bank is now full. And then now we have the option of filling up some of our food for our cargo hold. But I should note here that the fuel tank is a complete and independent entity within your fleet. Again, composed of many different ships, perhaps, in this case just one. Your ammo bank, again, is a unique thing. But your food actually goes into the cargo hold. So there may be times where you actually want to put in other things within your cargo hold. So in this case, food, and I guess if you're doing toolkits, they all add up to that. So we're not going to put any food into here, toolkits, because that'll be for a later part of a different video where we're doing that. But just wanted to point that out, that the cargo hold is for toolkits, food, and any other resources, not including ammo and fuel. However, you can take more ammo and fuel if you want to. Again, we'll go into those in different videos. So basically that's how you add resources to your fleet. As a final step here on the fleet, we're going to go ahead and do a disband command so you can kind of see how that works. So I'm going to go ahead and click disband. And this again is another action. So this is actually going to take and split our fleet apart into its individual aspects. So in this case, it'll be the ship, which is just one of the Pierce X4s. But because we had different objects in there, those will also all come back to us. Now, as I'm disbanding, you'll notice that, hey, there's some SOL being returned. So this again was kind of how I was saying, is when you create a fleet, costs a little bit of SOL, or actually a lot. In this case, it was what, $1 something, but you'll get it back at the end. Now you can say, well, I didn't get it all back. True, and there is a extra command you'll need to run to try to recover all of that information, and we'll hopefully see that in a second. So okay, our fleet has been disbanded. Again, if we went into our local inventory, we should see those have all kind of gone back up. And here we have this warning message up here. So it says, you have 3 redundant token accounts for the Starbase. Click to consolidate and reclaim rent deposits. So this is where that extra stuff that I mentioned from the disbanding is. So you'll see this from time to time pop up as you do different things. Perfectly good. It's a great feature. Just go ahead and click on that. And now we'll get another phantom transaction. And we'll see again, we're getting another positive reoccurrence of that. So go ahead and click confirm. And those account red deposits have been returned. And we'll just go ahead and close that. And again, come back to the local inventory. Sometimes you'll see this come up a couple different times, so it's fine. Just go ahead and keep clicking it until things have been fully returned. And in this case, it disappeared. So, okay, so that was showing you disbanding. However, for the future videos that'll go over different things, I want to show you again how to create your fleet. So we'll kind of just redo that again. So again, that was going to port of entry. We want to add. Oh, I'm sorry. Close that. That's the ships if you want. Oh, actually, a good point. If you wanted to take your ship back into the wallet, you can actually do it here. So you can actually withdraw from Starbase. So that's where that command comes into play. But actually, we want to go to the hangar and we want to create a new fleet. We'll take the baby doll sheep fleet. We'll add our 1 Pierce and we'll go ahead and form that fleet. Again, still costs a little bit of SOL. We'll confirm. And our fleet has been created. Now in this case, instead of going into it, I'm just going to click the refuel all button because it's more convenient. Confirm that. And then we'll go ahead and hit rearm all. Now, you can usually get away with kind of stacking these commands, and that's what actually this indicator is for. It'll sometimes be more than one. But again, if the interface isn't being responsive or something, you may not prefer to do that. So, and click confirm. So fleets have been refueled. We can go ahead and close that. Now it's doing number 1 again. And now we see that we're 100% on all that. We can close that down. And we'll close this down now. Now, one interesting thing, we went through the user interface in a previous video, but there's now a new button. And if you hover over it, it actually, this is more of accessing your fleets. So you can kind of click here and you see, hey, there's my fleet. So we've been going into, I'll just show you the difference here. We've been going into the Mud Central Space Station, and then we went to the hangar. But again, sometimes this is just a quicker thing. So again, you'll find there's sometimes a couple different ways to do different things. So, that's pretty much it for this section. So again, we added a ship, we created a fleet, we put some resources into it, moved them out of our wallet into our Starbase, and then put them into our fleet.